Tonight, Nigerian government expresses disappointment over Nigeria's inclusion in the UK's travel red list as British government bans Nigerians and other non-British citizens from entering the UK. Lagos police launches investigation into the death of Sylvester Oromoni Jr., a 12-year-old student of Dowan College. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency NDLEA arrests 44-year-old father of 3 at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja for ingesting 96 pellets of cocaine. And Pope Francis condemns treatment of migrants in Europe, says European countries displaying narrow-minded behavior. Welcome. The Nigerian government is not happy with the British government listing of Nigeria on its red list of COVID-19 due to the emergence of the Omicron variant. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osagi Ehanire, told Channels Television that the response of the UK government is not good enough, but warned that a fourth wave, as predicted, is upon us. The Health Minister was a guest on our political program, Sunday Politics.
You know that many countries were not very happy when 6 countries in Southern Africa were placed on a red list. And the WHO also advised against putting each other on the red list. From what we know so far about the COVID-19, there are many ways to manage it. And besides, not much was known, or not much is still known about the Omicron variant. We know, for example, that there have been no fatalities. There have also been no reports of very severe illness. So actually the rationale for being so hasty in putting countries on a red list is not something that is very helpful. It's going to disrupt commerce, it's going to disrupt family reunions, it is going to disrupt the movement of goods and services, particularly at this time of year towards the time of the birthday of Christ, Christmas festivities. We regularly get travelers coming in from the UK who are COVID positive. In fact, within the last 2 weeks, the COVID positive arrivals that we had were 50% from the UK. And there is genetic sequencing going on, and we shall have the results soon. We don't know how many of them are necessarily Omicron variants. But if every country were going to put other countries on the ban list because there are 21 cases from that country, very soon you have a large number of countries on your red list. So I do believe that there are other ways of going about it. And we in Nigeria don't regard banning flights and banning movement of people as particularly helpful and supportive. We had the so-called third wave already with the Delta variant that came in. This is what we are looking at as a fourth wave, and it was predicted here. We predicted this as far back as a month ago, that there might be a fourth wave in Nigeria, and it is perhaps in the world, and it is almost accurately manifesting. We hope that it doesn't get to be that, and if it becomes a fourth wave, it would not be in any way deadly to our citizens. But we did predict that there might be a fourth wave, and which will probably have been triggered now by this Omicron variant.
With effect from tomorrow, Nigeria joins the list of countries on the United Kingdom travel red list, which bans all non-UK and non-Irish citizens from entering the UK. A statement from the British Deputy High Commission says the decision follows the discovery of 21 Omicron cases in the United Kingdom, which are linked to travel from Nigeria. The statement further states that the decision is a temporary one, which is meant to prevent further Omicron cases from entering the UK and will be be examined at the 3-week review point on December the 20th. Speaking about the decision, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Catriona Laing, said, I quote, "I know that this decision will have a significant impact on people in both our countries, particularly at this time of the year. This decision is a precautionary measure to protect public health in the UK whilst we try to understand this new variant. We continue to work very closely with the Nigerian authorities in tackling the pandemic and commend their ongoing work." End quote. In a similar vein, the British High Commission says it will pause making decisions on visitor visa applications from all red list countries, including Nigeria. Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi has attributed the relative peace being enjoyed in the southeast region to divine intervention. The governor was speaking at a Thanksgiving service held at the Christ Embassy Church in Abakaliki, capital of Ebonyi State, on Sunday. The Thanksgiving forms part of activities lined up for the festive season.
We want to thank God so much. We all witnesses what we passed through in terms of, insecurity. It was very tough, very, very tough. And we were praying. But you think of what we passed through here, what about other states of Southeast? But today, God gave Southeast grace through Ebonyi State. It is your prayers that God heard, and we have this peace we have now. And we continue to have it from glory to glory. It's very important to recognize everything that God has done for you. This is very important. We need it as a state, as a people, to thank God for rescuing us from the hands of our children, especially those who went through Burumini to destroy us. God is so wonderful.
The Lagos State Police Command says it has started comprehensive investigation into the cause of death of Sylvester Oromoni Jr., a 12-year-old student of Dowen College, a co-educational school in Lekki area of Lagos. The Commissioner of Police and Lagos told Channels Television on Sunday that the case has been taken over by the State Criminal Investigation Department, BANTI, for discreet investigation. Mr. Odumosu adds that the command is also teaming up with the Delta State Police Command to unravel the mystery behind the sudden, severe pain that led to the death of the minor. Junior passed away while nursing multiple internal injuries alleged to have been sustained after he was bullied by his fellow students. Meanwhile, the board and management of Dowen College has promised to investigate the circumstances leading to Sylvester's death by assisting the authorities to get to the bottom of the incident. The Lagos State government has, however, sealed the school premises on Sunday, 2 days after announcing its closure. A 44-year-old male and father of 3, Gabriel Anthony Patrick, has been arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja for ingesting 96 pellets of cocaine. Mr. Patrick, a native of Nike in Enugu State, was arrested on Friday, November the 26th, during an outward clearance of Turkish Airlines at the boarding screening area of the airport en route Abuja, Istanbul, Madrid. Meanwhile, operatives of the NDLEA at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, have arrested one Okorie Godwin over his attempt to export 21.85 kilograms of cannabis concealed in foodstuff en route to London. Also, 5 students of the American University of Nigeria, Yola, Adamawa, and University of Maiduguri, Borno State, are among suspects arrested for drug offenses in raids across 9 states. In the southwest, operatives of the NDLEA intercepted 608.40 kilograms of cannabis sativa concealed in a black Toyota Sequoia in Oyo State, while the duo of Praise Emmanuel and Aminu Aliu were arrested with 228 kilograms of cannabis in Kano State. It is the job of leaders to present convincing arguments to a large number of people who might otherwise have opposed the removal of the subsidy of the price of petrol. That's according to the president and founder of the ANAP Foundation, Mr. Tedo Peterside. Mr. Peterside told Channels Television's Ladia Kiriduluali on our current affairs program, Newsnight, that such arguments must be compelling enough to make the people accept the choice of a painful but long-term beneficial decision. He adds that currently some of those making the argument and are in leadership positions give confusing signals.
I think there's a knowledge issue here. You can bring some economists into a room or even mathematicians into a room and do a scenario, the price of oil. There's a level, you can calculate it, that if the price of oil get to that level and you continue with the subsidy. So let's imagine that the subsidy was there, the price of oil was $30 a barrel. If the price of oil gets to 100 or is 105, there's a level you will get to that all the federal government money will be consumed by the subsidy and there'll be nothing left for anything else.
Aren't we already there?
No, we're almost there, but let's continue. So, and I think also that, so I'm trying to point out to you that you have to make choices. Life is about choices. The economy is about choices. There's a level that which if the oil price gets to, that the entire revenue will be consumed on just one item, petrol subsidy. So which means that there will be zero for education, zero for health, zero for security. Do we want to get there? Is that a destination that anybody wants? Now, let me explain one thing further. Solving any serious problem is the job of leaders. It is leaders that make a case for something. It's leaders that educate people, convince them on tough policies, and explain why something needs to change. What is the quality of the arguments that leaders are putting out? If you want to address fundamental things like the subsidy, you've got to be able to articulate your position very well. You have to be convincing. You have to go out and convince large numbers of people who stand in your way. And it's not enough to just throw one argument at them and say that I told them this and they refused. In fact, sometimes when I see some people, especially in NNPC, some of the arguments they make on subsidy, I wonder, does this man want the subsidy to continue or he wants it to end? Because the logical extension of what he claims to be saying, that is supposed to make people accept the subsidy to be removed. His argument is so bad that it's like he wants to sabotage the whole argument, perhaps because he's benefiting from the whole subsidy arrangement, which they are a major actor in. So actually the point I'm making is that for everything you do, the leadership is the one that takes the role. The leadership is the one that communicates, that sells the idea.
For the full interview with Mr. Peterside, do watch Newsnight. It airs tomorrow, Monday the 6th of December 2021 at 9 p.m. right here on Channels Television. President Muhammadu Buhari has returned to the country after a 4-day trip to the United Arab Emirates, where he participated in the Expo 2021 Dubai. He was received on arrival at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport this afternoon by government officials led by the Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari. During the trip, the president addressed a trade and investment forum at Dubai Expo 2020, organized by the Nigeria-Arabia Gulf Chamber of Commerce, Nigeria's Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, and the Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission. Also at the forum, the president assured that Nigeria remains the most viable and attractive investment destination in Africa, maintaining that the country is on the path of becoming the continent's leading industrial and trading nation. In part 2, after the break, Vice President YemiOsinbajo says the federal government will continue to work with all and sundry to ensure peace and prosperity in the country. join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Nigerian government expresses disappointment over Nigeria's inclusion in the United Kingdom's travel red list, as the British government bans Nigerians and other non-British citizens from entering the United Kingdom. Lagos Police Command launches investigation into the death of Sylvester Oromoni Jr., a 12-year-old student of Dowan College. A National Drug Law Enforcement Agency arrests 44-year-old father of 3 at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja for ingesting 96 pellets of cocaine. And Pope Francis condemns treatment of migrants in Europe, says European countries displaying narrow-minded behavior. The Socio-Economic Accountability Project, SERAP, has filed a lawsuit seeking an order of perpetual injunction to restrain President Muhammadu Buhari and the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, from unlawfully shutting down telecommunication services in any part of the country. It will be recalled that the NCC recently ordered telecom operators to suspend all telecommunications networks in some states, including Zamfara State and at least 13 local government areas of Katsina State, purportedly to check banditry and terrorism. According to SERAP, the Buhari administration has constitutional and international legal obligations to enable access to the internet for all, as access to the internet is inextricably linked to the exercise of freedom of expression and information. The Vice President, Professor YemiOsinbajo, says the federal government will continue to work with stakeholders and the people to ensure peace and prosperity of the country. He was speaking in Bida, Niger State, where he was conferred with the title of Garkuwan Yaman Nupe alongside 4 other people. Professor Osinbajo commends Bida Emirate and the Niger State government for their strategic contribution to the development of agriculture in the country.
Your Excellency, the federal government, under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, recognizes the strategic importance of Nupe land in national development and, indeed, the strategic importance of the state. That is why only a few weeks ago, the Federal Executive Council approved the reconstruction of roads here in Niger State. This administration also understands the importance of ensuring that all Nigerians have a sustainable standard of living, and that we must ensure that all are gainfully employed in legitimate economic activity. That is why we have and will continue to prioritize agricultural growth and development. Between July and September 2021, agriculture contributed 30% of Nigeria's total GDP. Nupe land, with its vast farmlands and extensive farming activities, is key to delivering this figure. And we will continue to work with key stakeholders and the people to effectively tackle insecurity challenges in order to achieve a peaceful and prosperous society.
Governor Umaru Fintiri of Adamawa State is promising to execute more projects that will have direct impact on the lives of the people in the state. He made the promise after inspecting the ongoing projects in Sheleng local government area of Adamawa, where he also reiterates his administration's commitment towards revamping the education sector. Some of the projects inspected by the governor include a cottage hospital and the Kiri-Sheleng Road.
I will ensure that the contractor also complete his job within the record time. That is the only thing I think that is remaining. But as per the standard of the road, all of us can attest to either the job is good and is excellent, and the people of Shelleng are happy. We have seen to ourselves also some of the projects at the basic education, which we have awarded, and you can see all our primary schools are so beautiful and nice with instructional materials, and the students are happy. My message to Adamawa students is that we should continue to cooperate, we should continue to work together so that we can explore all the opportunities to make this state great again.
The Kogi state government has appealed to the Federal Ministry of Works to urgently rehabilitate the Lokoja-Kotonkarfe Abuja Road and the Muritala Mohammed Bridge to avoid gridlock during the Yuletide period. The special advisor to the governor of the state, Jerry Omodara, who made the appeal when inspecting some of the bad spots on the road, said the road and the Muritala Mohammed Bridge require urgent intervention to ameliorate the suffering of motorists who will use the road during the Yuletide period. Accidents of this nature occur frequently on the Lokoja-Abuja road. Some of the accidents are caused by potholes and bad portions of the road.
Instead of the people that are going to maintain their lane, we'll be facing each other, which is very risky. So as far as we don't have any alternative, then our government are not trying to repair it.
There's been stories about people sleeping on this bridge during Yuletide season, and we don't want such situation to repeat itself again. We don't want it happening again because it also results to high rate of accidents on this particular route.
While the Lokoja-Abuja road was awarded for dualization in 2006 under the administration of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, the Muritala Mohammed Bridge was constructed by the military government of the late General Muritala Mohammed in 1976 to link the southern and northern parts of the country. Officials from the Kogi State Government and Federal Road Safety Commission inspect the road and express concern over the safety of travelers during this year's Yuletide season.
The governor is worried that people will sleep on the road during this Christmas period, and it's going to be very bad. It is not in the interest of the state, it is not in the interest of Nigerians, and it is certainly in area of security is going to increase problem for us within the state. And that is why His Excellency directed that urgent things have to be done right now for palliative effort to be made.
The Federal Road Safety Commission says over 12,000 vehicles pass through Kogi State daily, and the figure will increase during the Yuletide season.
Road safety in Kogi State is doing everything humanly possible to ensure that our men are on the road, and all this, not only Muritala Bridge, all the area we identify that can cause a council of hold up in Kogi State have been identified, and we have put in place measures to ensure that travelers will not suffer unnecessarily.
Residents of Kogi State and frequent commuters of the road are appealing to the Federal Ministry of Works for urgent work to be done on the Lokoja-Kotonkarfe Abuja Road and the Muritala Mohammed Bridge to enable free flow of traffic and safety of travelers during the Yuletide season. Governor Abdullahi Sule has inspected the engineering workshop in the Isa Mustafa Agwai Polytechnic in the state, which is expected to aid the transformation of the institution to a full-fledged polytechnic. Our correspondent Halima Gayam reports that the governor also inspected the ongoing Mararaban Udege Road and the Antau Bridge.
The management of the Nasarawa State Polytechnic received Governor Abdullahi Sule. His first port of call is the renovated ICT complex, which was destroyed during a protest by students some months ago. He inspects the engineering workshops ahead of an accreditation exercise by the National Board for Technical Education.
We are 95% prepared. The visitor to the institution, the equipment you have seen. What is left now is the administrative aspect of it. The few things we'll just mount them, and we are 95% ready for accreditation, especially in the area of engineering.
I came in with a dream that an institution such as this to be called a polytechnic and doesn't have one technical education, that is accredited, I thought is actually making a mockery of polytechnics aspect. So the moment they get this, then I have achieved one of my dreams by converting Mustafa Agwai Polytechnic into a true polytechnic, because that's all I wanted to do, and I'm happy that so far, so good. We are going in the right direction.
The governor also inspects ongoing projects at the western zone of the state, the ongoing Mararaban Udege and Udege Mbeki roads. He commissions an extension of the Udege Primary Healthcare Center and restates his resolve to complete the Udege roads.
Let me also take the liberty of this occasion to reiterate the commitment of this administration to complete the ongoing Mararaba to Udegembeki and the township roads, which I have just inspected, and will continue by the grace of God to enhance the security and the movement of the people.
Inspection of the ongoing Antau Bridge in Kefi. In Lafia, Governor Sole witnesses the energization of the power lines of the Akroba Power substation.
The lines have already been designed, but right now I think we have only the 2 lines, that have been completed, and they are going dedicated for Lafia. So at least Lafia should have steady power supply with this. Before now, TCN will come and take it over and start the transmission line, start constructing to the other destinations.
Several projects have been initiated in the state with work ongoing. However, residents want them completed as quickly as possible. Halima Agayam, Channels Television News.
When the news at 10 returns, staff of a microfinance bank in Abuja who arranged a robbery against himself is caught right in the act. Join us again. Welcome back. Over now to Ogun State, where our next story could well have been from the scene of a movie set. 36-year-old Daria Adegoke, a manager with the microfinance bank in Abeokuta, the state capital, is now cooling his nerves with the Ogun State police for orchestrating an armed robbery attack against himself and his colleague. The robbery was, however, thwarted owing to the vigilance of his colleague, who discovered that the crime tool was actually a toy gun.
Daria Adegoke is a 36-year-old graduate, father of 2, and head of credit and marketing of a microfinance bank in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. So just how did he find himself in a situation where handcuffs are placed on him? The police PRO in the state offers some explanation on the crime that led to the arrest of these 2 men.
Our men at Ibarra Divisional Headquarters received a distress call that some people who was going to the bank, a commercial bank, to withdraw a certain amount of money were being attacked by armed robbers. So the DPO in Ibarra quickly mobilized his men, and they went after the hoodlums. With the help of members of the public, one of the robbers was apprehended. So it was during interrogation that the man informed the police that it was one of the victims who bargained with him to come and hijack the money that his employer sent him to go and withdraw from the bank.
While they hatched their plan, neither Dario nor his friend bargained for the detective intuition of his colleague.
Immediately, he put the gun on my side. I asked the driver to go straight to the police station because we are between prison and police station. That if anything happens, people will easily know that there is something that is going on. The gun will put the attention of people. Before I now realize that the gun put at my side is like a toy gun. They use sellotape, black sellotape to wrap the gun. That is why I did it.
I'm a person of character. People know me.
The main suspect, Dari, however, blames a wrong investment choice and its fallout for his present predicament.
I used to do online trading or online investment like Forest. I lost my money to it, and together with the money I borrowed from people.
Because of this last week, I was really scared. I was really scared being in court for the money I owed him. I was scared. Nobody to talk to. I don't have any savings.
And he appears not to be the only one surprised at the turn of events in his life.
For the past 3 months that we have been working together, he has been known to be a person of good character. He does his work as at when due, and we all believe he's a person of integrity, God-fearing. Even when we do normally have our morning devotion, he prays, he encourages everyone, and everybody is even looking up to him. Most of the marketers are even looking up to him that one day want to be like this man.
The other suspect can well be described as a victim of his own friend and to some extent greed. Having been invited all the way from Ilaro to provide electrical services for a new apartment. The story, however, changed when he got to Abuja.
He invited me to fix electrical appliances in his new home. When I got there, he introduced robbery to me. I told him I've never done such a thing in my life. He assured me nothing will go wrong and promised to give me 100,000 naira. It's 100,000 naira that led me to this.
300,000. The police believe employers of labor need to do more checks on applicants before bringing them on board to avoid situations like these.
I want to equally advise employers. They should have background check on whoever they want to employ before they give such person employment, because there are a lot of criminals outside there, and especially those who will be entrusted with cash.
The two suspects have now been arraigned before a magistrate court in Abuja with a 2-count charge of armed robbery and conspiracy.
Wife of the governor of Zamfara State, Aisha Bello Matawali, has led a walk against gender-based violence in the state as part of her activities for the 16 days of activism against violence against women and children in the state. She led the walk round the major areas of the state capital to sensitize the people and also marched to the palace of the Emir of Gusau and the Zamfara State Police Command to press home her advocacy.
The 16 days of activism against gender-based violence is an international campaign to raise awareness and generate action to end violence against women and girls. The First Lady of Zamfara State is keen into this year's campaign to lead an advocacy to prominent people in the state to seek their support to end violence against women and girls in the state. She begins with a visit to the Emir of Gusau, Alhaji Ibrahim Bello, and appeals to the monarch to sensitize his people on gender-based violence.
Going forward, our commitment is to make sure that these laws are being passed. If, as you are aware, the first reading has been sat in the National Assembly for the Child's Rights Act, which protects the girl child and women in our society. And my husband and his administration is working tirelessly to make sure that this law is being passed.
This year's campaign is coming amidst alarming reports of the prevalence of sexual and gender-based violence across the country. The State Commissioner for Education, Zainab Gumi, reveals that the state recorded high numbers of reported cases of gender-based violence during the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown.
Women and children were attacked severely during the lockdown. There were a lot of cases. We are just coming from the Commissioner of Police, and they have been given support. The First Lady too have been given support on all the violences cases we are having against women.
The Zamfara State Commissioner of Police is assuring residents of the commitment of the police in tackling this menace.
Police in Zamfara State will never compromise in any case against gender violence. In fact, we have a section that is handling that matter. And whenever it comes, I always indicate my interest to see that cases are investigated to the matter.
As the Emir of Gusau, Alhaji Ibrahim Bello, pledges to mobilize all district heads to ensure that gender-based violence is not tolerated in their respective communities, The First Lady of Zamfara State assures that she will not relent in advocating for the speedy passage of the Child's Right Act in the State House of Assembly.
A reflection of an artist in color is an exhibition by Prince Obasi. The artist took the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, by storm with euphoria.
The essence of looking beyond the surface is what contemporary artist Prince Obasi presents to art connoisseur in Euphoria, an artist's reflection in color with his recent solo exhibition at the Thought Pyramid Art Center, Abuja.
The reason why I titled it Euphoria is because of the way I felt as at when I was producing those works. I had this excitement within that I can't, for now, I can't perfectly describe it, but I knew I was very, very excited. I can't imagine if this world doesn't have anything called color. I don't know how it's going to look like. Color is life and it's everywhere. So without color, I don't think the life will be interesting. And that is why I had to take several measures to make sure that my colors are indeed captivating and they are very, very thought-provoking.
A window into the artist's worldview has been opened through the many works of art displayed, which celebrate the formalistic aesthetic view of his new forms.
He's a very gifted artist, I believe, even though he represents his work in ways that I personally find very fascinating, especially when you look at how he portrays, let's say, a man as against a woman in his work. But it's very insightful, there's a lot of depth, and he's very passionate about what he does.
For those who have watched this artist grow, they're excited about the progression which he allowed spring forth.
Over the years, I have seen him express so much emotions, so much depth, so much originality, as you can see from the works. If you look at the human eye, you might think that the human eye is kind of oval. But he sees it differently, and he expresses it differently to the extent that the human eye is squared. He does a blend of traditional and contemporary and Western art.
Looking at the show, I can only smile like a proud dad because he has come this far and this is success. I can't expect more or less than this. I wish him well. I'm super excited. He has inspired me, and we have been together as a full-time studio artist, and I can only say, well done, Prince.
In a world which is becoming increasingly cosmetic, the paintings remind the audience not to get carried away by outward appearances.
I feel this is the right time because, globally, beyond Nigeria, we are still having this issue of COVID and its negative effect on us. So I said, okay, create pieces that will make people a bit excited and then make them possibly not dwell much on the effect of COVID at the moment, another economic crisis. That is why you see the pieces reflecting that joy and extreme excitement. That's what Euphoria is about for me.
Despite their colorful appeal, the images have depth, a message the artist strongly preaches.
The Africa Economic Conference has ended in Cape Verde with a call to leaders, delegates and experts to urgently implement suggestions agreed for new financial structures and continental cooperation. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent Amarachi Ubani tells us more.
Critical, strategic and intense conversations surrounding Africa's economic development post-pandemic have finally come to a close. Representatives of all the agencies that have been collaborating to put together the Africa Economic Conference for the past 16 years, and now 17th, expressed their thoughts on what has been achieved at the conference.
I also hear about the importance of consolidating the African markets through intra-regional trade, intra-regional investment, and also developing logistics. Some of us, we know the challenges we face in flying here. Within West Africa, where we are, we had to fly out of the continent before we can return here.
Director AI of the Macroeconomics and Governance Division of the ECA, Dr. Bartholomew Arma, says Africa needs to rethink its financing model and global financing architecture.
We've also looked at the need for a rethink of the global financing architecture, an architecture that gives more to those who have more and less to those who have the least. Case in point is the special drawing rights that have really reinforced global inequities and global vulnerabilities and divergence in the recovery from the pandemic.
To the problems. As for UNDP Administrator and Regional Director for Africa, Ahunna Eziakowa, the future belongs to Africa's youth.
One of the things that that really impacted me at this conference was my meeting yesterday with a group of young people from this country. And Excellency, I think you have some outstanding youth in Cabo Verde. It was only a few of them who were invited, and I interacted with them, and I was blown away in the depth of their conviction, not just about contributing to the development of Cabo Verde, but seeing themselves as African citizens who have a role to play in the development of the continent.
Vice Prime Minister of Cabo Verde, His Excellency Dr. Olavo Correa, said Africa needs visionary leadership, able to focus on only a Plan A.
A Plan B is to make the A plan work, and to make Africa a resilient continent, to make Africa a continent that knows how to take advantage of its potentials.
His Excellency Dr. Olavo Correa, the Vice Prime Minister, gave a really impressive speech this afternoon, once again emphasizing Africa has a solution to Africa's problems and that Africa's existing financial infrastructure will not be taking it into the future. From the conference hall of the Africa Economic Conference here in Sao Cabo Verde, Amarachi Ubani, Channels Television News.
And still to come on the news at 10, Pope Francis condemns treatment of migrants in Europe, says European countries displaying narrow-minded behavior. Join us again. Welcome back. Foreign news now. The Pope has denounced narrow self-interest and nationalism over the way Europe treats migrants. Speaking on the Greek island of Lesbos, where he met dozens of migrants, Pope Francis said they were being used for political propaganda. He urged focus on the causes of migration, such as forgotten wars, instead of punishing those who feel their effects. He also criticized the building of walls to keep people out. Pope Francis, who first visited Lesbos in 2016 and took 12 Syrian refugees back to Italy with him, returned briefly as part of his 5-day trip to Cyprus and Greece to meet with refugees at the Mavrovouni camp, which holds about 2,300 people. The U.S. and a host of allied countries have called on the Taliban to end the targeted killings of former members of Afghan security forces. In a joint statement, the 22 nations demanded that the Islamist regime respect its pledge not to harm former government or security personnel. It follows a damning report on killings and abductions by the Islamist regime, released by the Human Rights Watch earlier this week. The report documented more than 100 executions and abductions of former Afghan government officials since the Taliban took control of the country almost 4 months ago. The USA-based news network, Cable News Network, has terminated the services of its anchor and brother to the embattled ex-New York Governor Andrew Cuomo as he battles harassment allegations. The decision comes after CNN received additional information over the extent of Chris Cuomo's involvement in his older brother's defense. According to reports, Chris Cuomo had already been suspended by CNN on Tuesday after his efforts to aid his embattled brother from behind the scenes, as documents released by the New York Attorney General shows the anchor had on numerous occasions reached out to the governor's office seeking to help his brother. Furthermore, the management of CNN state that it recognizes the unique position of Chris Cuomo, but that the information he made available to the governor's office is a breach of journalistic ethics. At least 14 people have now died and dozens more are injured after a volcano erupted on Indonesia's Java island on Saturday. Residents were filmed fleeing a giant ash cloud from Mt. Semeru. Pictures showed entire villages buried in volcanic ash up to rooftops, and locals have described thick smoke blocking the sun, leaving them in pitch darkness.
Aerial footage showing the damage caused by Saturday's volcanic eruption in Indonesia. Ash and mud from the violent eruption of South Semeru covered areas in the East Java province. Hundreds of evacuees on Sunday sought shelter in a community center as they prepared to spend another night away from home after their deadly ordeal. The country's disaster mitigation agency said at least 14 people were killed and dozens injured. 98 have been injured, including 2 pregnant women, and 902 have been evacuated.
When the eruption happened, it was so dark. But what is important is that all my family members are safe, but many of my neighbors died. I'm very thankful, and of course, I was frightened when that eruption happened.
Officials say evacuation efforts have been hampered by choking smoke, a power blackout, and rainstorm during the eruption, which turned the debris into mud. The eruption has left at least 11 villages in the Lumajang district covered in volcanic ash, submerging houses and forcing some evacuees to seek shelter in mosques and makeshift shelters. Large clouds of smoke and ash were spewed more than 40,000 feet in the air from a volcano between Malang and Lumajang in East Java province. Semeru, more than 12,000 feet high, is one of Indonesia's nearly 130 active volcanoes. It erupted in January, causing no casualties.
Sports news now. Rivers United are out of the CAF Confederations Cup following a 1-0 loss to Egypt's Masri Olea today. The Port Harcourt-based side came into the encounter on the heels of a 2-1 win in the first leg of the encounter and needed at least a draw to advance to the group stage of the competition. But Abdel Latif Grendo's 12th-minute strike sent the Egyptian side to the group stage on the away goal rule. Earlier, Eyimba moved a step close to the group stage thanks to a 2-0 win against Libya's Al Ittihad in Aba. A new venue and date for the first leg tie will be announced by CAF after Eyimba were denied entry to Tunisia for the tie last week. Ralph Rangnick's reign at Manchester United got off to a winning start thanks to a stunning strike from the much-maligned Fred to beat Crystal Palace 1-0 at Old Trafford earlier today. United moved back to within 3 points of the top 4 and up to 6th in the Premier League table. There were no immediate changes from Rangnick in the lineup as he named an unchanged side from Thursday's 3-2 win over Arsenal. Lucas Moura's outstanding goal helped earn fast improving Tottenham a 3rd straight win under Antonio Conte and left Norwich anchored at the bottom of the table. Leeds United and Brentford played out a 2-2 draw. And the main news again. Nigeria today expressed disappointment over its inclusion on the red list of nations by the UK government following the discovery of the Omicron variant. Also today, the United Kingdom barred Nigerians and other non-British citizens from entering the country. We also brought you a report that the Lagos Police Command has launched investigation into the death of Sylvester Oromoni Jr., a 12-year-old student of Dowen College. And Pope Francis has condemned the treatment of migrants in Europe, saying European countries are displaying narrow-minded behavior. And that's it on the news at 10 tonight. Thank you for your company. And from all of us here, it's good night.